Okay, so this is 5.2, and we've been dealing with cash controls, and so we're dealing with today is a bank reconciliation. So we'll look at a bank statement and fill out a bank reconciliation form and record a service charge on check stub. So that's what we're talking about. Bank statement, reconciliation form, record journals, bank service charge. So this here is just a basic bank statement. You can get these in the mail, or like most of you probably do or will do if you don't have one, is get it online. Um, Either or, the basic principles are the same. They're going to have transactions chronologically ordered. They'll have a place where you can have deductions. Often, within our purposes for our bank, for our business, we will often have checks just to make it simpler. But you'll have ATM withdrawals over the phone, EFT transfers, electronic funds transfers. And then there's a SC here for service charge. Some checks are cashed later or on the same day, multiple checks. So we got different things going on. We got deposits listed here. We add deposits, obviously subtract checks. It tells you a number of checks, number of deposits. Might say something in yours like withdrawals. Has a banking information, date. Has a service charge listed here, and the bank statement balance, 3,292, which is this number here. So this is a bank statement. You would get this in the back. When I was growing up, we'd get it in the mail. But now we get it online. You guys probably get it online. And that's what they're talking about here. Anything that shows deposits, withdrawals would be checks, and the bank balance sent to the depositor, which is you, the owner of the checking account, is called a bank statement. Okay, when a bank receives checks, the amount of checked is obviously deducted. A check that has been cashed or paid by the bank is called a canceled check. So we would call these checks that the bank has a record of us writing canceled checks. We used to get, again, I used to get these mailed to me. Now it's listed on your account and online. You can click on it and it'll show you the check. Okay. These are called canceled checks. All right. The service charge SC will also be listed on the check as well. You're saying, why would the bank have any errors or anything like that? If that was a question, there's a variety of different reasons why your bank statement that you're given or mailed or has on the screen is not equaling your checkbook stub or check register. And they have these listed here. For example, we might not have recorded the service charge that they charged us here. Service charges are for a variety of reasons. It could be you try to get a checking account that wouldn't have a service charge or limited, but you could have ordered checks that month, or you could have had a withdrawal or some kind of overcharge fee or a payment that was made special that was requiring a fee of some sort. But a service charge could be on there that we don't have a record of, or outstanding deposits or outstanding checks. What we mean by that is these are canceled checks, checks we've written and the bank has cashed. But an outstanding check or an outstanding deposit are deposits that are in our records, but not on the bank statement. There's a check that has been recorded and in our records, but not on the bank statement. And how would that be? Let's say we write a check to somebody and they don't cash it for a week. Okay, and then you look at your bank statement and you keep saying, "Oh, I got all this money," when really you don't, because you haven't, they haven't cashed all the checks because you wrote a check a week ago and it hasn't been cashed yet. Okay, and that would be an outstanding check, one that you have recorded in our records, but that has not been on the bank statement, probably because it hasn't been cashed. An outstanding deposit would be one of these deposits made, but not recorded on your bank statement. It could be something where you make a deposit at night and it doesn't fully go into your bank until 3 the next day or noon the next day, or if you do it on a Sunday or a Saturday evening and it doesn't go in there till Monday, something like that. Those are called outstanding deposits. And we could have made an error. So those are a variety of reasons why this bank statement balance might differ to your records in your business. Okay, so this is a reconciliation of a bank statement. This is just kind of showing you the side of that you have your business, your records, and you're trying to verify and make sure that these numbers that are with the bank and what the bank doesn't have a record of, they would equal. So a bank statement is reconciled by verifying the information on the bank statement and the information from the checkbook. That's all right on this reconciliation bank statement. These are in agreement. This is important because then we can understand that we have our cash flow correct, and we know that all our money is accounted for. For each canceled check listed on the bank statement, a check mark will be placed in the corresponding check stub. And we'll show you this in a little more detail when we do problems. So every time there's a check on the bank statement, so if we're looking back here, on the bank statement, we will put a check mark on the bank stub. That way we understand that it's not an outstanding check, that the bank has a record of it. A check stub with no check mark would be an outstanding check, and we would list all the outstanding checks we wrote, but the bank doesn't have a record of here. Outstanding deposits are going to be similar. We would make a check mark in our check stub for outstanding deposits if there's one that's been listed but they don't have a record of. We would then list this. And so if we click on this a little bit closer, so you can see it a little better, the reconciliation, you'll have a date, you'll have the balance on the check stub, so whatever check stub we're on at this time, we started this company this month, so we have 14. We write what we think the balance should be. We record the service charge that we saw on the last page that we didn't have a record of. So then we would subtract that service charge. It says deduct bank charges. So to help you, remind you that you would subtract the service charge. Why are we doing this? This is how much money we thought we had. We look at our bank statement, see a service charge we didn't have a record of. So we need to subtract it. On this side, this is all the bank's part. This is the number, if you recall from last screen that we showed you, that had the bank statement balance. This is a list of all those outstanding deposits. Excuse me. Outstanding deposits made, but the bank doesn't have a record of. Again, it could be that you made it on the same day, Sunday, whatever. We touched on that last time. But if we made a deposit and re-recorded it and the bank doesn't have a record of it yet, we need to list it. That's called an outstanding deposit. So we would add, and it tells you that, outstanding deposits to get a new subtotal. Then in this section, you would list all your outstanding checks, add them up, list them here, and we would subtract our outstanding checks. And hopefully that makes sense. This is how much money the bank thought you had. They didn't know about this deposit, so you add that. They didn't know about all these checks, so you would subtract that. If these equal, then you got a pretty good guess that you did it correctly. You'll be asked to deduct service charges on here. This is the statement on, this is the amount of money on your check stub. Get a total. You'll be asked to put the bank balance, add any outstanding deposits they don't have a record of, add up all the outstanding checks they don't have a record of, and subtract that total to get your new adjusted bank balance, and hopefully those equal. On this sheet, these are the 12 steps again, just like always. Again, the SC service charge is what we're labeling that as. We compare the adjusted balances again. We want the adjusted bank balance and adjusted check stub balance to equal. If they don't, then we need to find the errors that have been made. Okay. We also need to record a bank service charge on the check stub. So this is check stub 14. We've got a check over here we're waiting to write. We have the balance that we used on our last bank reconciliation statement. There's no deposits on this check stub. So then we write here, other, the service charge. We need to record this because we need to get the updated balance. So we record the $25 fee we didn't have a record of, but we saw on our bank statement, subtract it to get our new subtotal. 2597, if you recall, is the number here because we didn't have a record of that service charge. So what we need to do is record it onto our bank stub. Okay, although the Delgado Web Service did not write a check for the bank service charge, this cash payment must be recorded in their accounting records. So we have to have it listed there in their check stub, and then we need to record it in our journal entries so that we can record that cash, being less. So even though it's not a check wasn't written, it is still a cash credit. And it's a memorandum based on this to withdraw from $25 from that fee. We didn't write a check for it, remember, it was taken out by the bank and charged to us by the bank. But we need to record it as such so we can show the $25 fee was paid, so we have to credit cash for $25. We have to put it as an expense, so we will record the bank service charge under miscellaneous expenses and debit this expense. So the January 31st transaction that says we received a bank statement showing a service charge for $25 is going to be journalized in this way. It'll be recorded on, it'll be recorded on the check stub this way so that our records are updated. Okay? I was just telling you we debit miscellaneous expense to show the decrease in the owner's equity. The asset cash is increased. That is the notes for 5-2.